If you or your child are really sensitive to energy, you might be an indigo and your child might be a crystal child. And these people really absorb energy much like a sponge absorbs water. Why they can feel really overwhelmed when they go to crowded places and they just seem to pick up the energy around them. If you're a parent of a crystal child, you might be really worried because this manifests into looking like your child has a lot of anxiety. They might be obsessive over things. They might have a hard time focusing. And some kids actually might even have speech delays or learning delays. Be really reactive or overactive. So I totally understand if this is your child, why you would be worried. My son is a crystal child, so I can really sympathize with this worry that a lot of parents might have. So what's really important to remember is that these are actually symptoms of an energy imbalance within your child. And I'm gonna get more into that a little bit later. But these children are here for a reason. They are here to help us with breaking down systems and building new ones in our world. It's no surprise that these children really tend to rebel against any institutions or systems here on Earth. Why they tend to struggle in traditional school systems, which is also true for indigo children as well. Children are really bright, they're really creative, and tend to think outside of the box and go against the grain on what is considered normal. You will really have a hard time getting crystal children and indigos to conform to systems, unless of course you can convince them that it is for their own good. Crystal children also tend to be musical. They can also have a lot of food allergies or sensitivities, and they tend to be really emotional. A lot of times, crystal children will actually be born to an indigo parent. Crystal children also have a hard time in high energy and crowded places. They might even be diagnosed on the spectrum because they really are good at self-containing and self-isolation. They also really tend to gravitate towards water, and they're also a lot of times they're healers. So like I mentioned before, these are really special children that come here for a specific reason. I know there is a lot of stuff circulating about time frames for indigos and time frames for crystal children. So indigos, they say, came here in the 1980s to early 1990s, and then crystal children came here late 1990s to 2010. I just want to point out that this is just an estimate, and the reason why I emphasize that is because my son, I know for a fact that he is a crystal child and he was born in 2012. So this is really just an estimate, and ultimately what it comes down to is each soul comes here when they are needed on this earth. I don't think that there's really anything set in stone for exact time frames that they decided to come here. Before we even got here, we signed the contract for a lot of the challenges and a lot of the soul lessons that we go through on earth. So a lot of times these children, because they tend to have a harder time focusing, they can be diagnosed here with ADD, ADHD, autism, or anything on the spectrum. And a lot of times what we do here is we prescribe them Ritalin. And no judgment if you have a child that is on Ritalin. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to judge. But what that is basically it is like a stimulant drug, and it tends to have a sedating effect on these children. When they are on medications, they may actually start to become numb to all of their potential in the world. We sign the contract before coming to the earth, so we sign into all challenges and all things that are occurring in our lifetime. So I think one of the biggest ways that we can help these children is to help them be aware of their energy, since their energy tends to be really scattered, really ungrounded, disorganized. When they're ungrounded, they are way more susceptible to picking up everything around them, energy from other people or situations. They pick it all up. And so they tend to mirror what our emotional state is. So if things are really chaotic at home, they will also feel really chaotic. So I think it's really important to, as much as you can, keep a balanced emotional state with yourself if you are a parent to a crystal child. You can help them be present with their energy each day. So if they had something negative happen in their day, you can sit with them and help them to release that negativity from each day so that they're not carrying it on into the next day. Because this stuff tends to have an accumulated effect in these children. You can practice energy balancing techniques. You can help them with meditation. You can help them with visualization. There are practices such as Qigong that you can teach your child. I think sometimes we can really underestimate the value and the power in quiet time. So not having things too chaotic in your home. And as far as physical health, these children tend to have a lot of food allergies, food sensitivities, and they really, really need high vibration foods. So things like fruits and vegetables are really, really good for these children. Wheat, dairy, corn, food preservatives, food dyes, a lot of foods that just aren't as natural tend to be really hard on their systems. And I mean, that's really for a lot of people actually, but for these kids in general, those foods are just really hard for them to process. As much as you can, you want to stick to a natural and healthy diet with these children. If these kids' energy is unbalanced or scattered for too long, they can start to emotionally feel numb, or they might, in an attempt to balance themselves, they might try to disconnect from the chaotic energy. This is all just in a way of them trying to cope. So let's talk now about ways that we can help these children. So I think probably one of the most important ways that we can help these children is to help them with breathing. So shallow breathing automatically throws our nervous system into stress mode. So we want to get their nervous system closer to a relaxed mode or parasympathetic mode. So deep breathing is really effective to help calm the nervous system. I know this is something that we introduced a while back, and it is just so powerful for how well it works. Anytime our son is overwhelmed, we teach him to take the deep breaths, and over time, it really does make a big difference. What I think we might see in the long term with these kids, if we don't help them with being aware of their energy, or if we don't help them to balance their scattered energy, we might see something like adrenal fatigue, because their body is just in this constant state of stress. And so you can do this really easily. You can help them to be aware of their energy just by rubbing your hands together vigorously like this. And you do that for a little while, it'll start to feel warm. But then you can go like this and just start like moving it. You can pretend you have like a bubble in between your hands, and you might feel like pulsing. You might even want to rub your hands together a little bit longer, but I can feel it, and you can go like this. They do this a lot in Qigong. And so doing something simple like that can really help your child to become aware of just energy in general. So these kids tend to have really ungrounded energy, so doing grounding exercises or meditations can be really helpful. And you can do a quick visualization just by having them sit in a chair, have them close their eyes, and have them visualize tree roots coming out through their feet and into the earth, and visualize the earth's energy coming up through those tree roots and into their body. Another really easy way to ground yourself is to take a step outside barefoot on the earth, on the cement, grass, rocks, sand, water, whatever you have, and just feel the energy coming up from the earth through your feet and into your body. Now, I know this isn't ideal for everybody all year round because you live in different climates. So what you can do in that case is you can visualize it. You can visualize yourself walking outside, barefoot on the earth, and take notice how it feels. Does it feel warm? You feel the energy coming up from the earth, and you can do it that way in just 5 minutes or less. So the next thing I want to mention here is about a metal spoon and how you can use it to draw your child's energy downward. So these kids tend to have a lot of energy flowing up here, which tends to make them feel really disoriented and overwhelmed a lot. So they tend to need that energy, the energy to flow downward. So what you can do is you can use a metal spoon. I actually just did this morning on my son. He was feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and I added some lavender, but you can also use essential oils with earthy tones, so things like frankincense, cedar wood. They will also be really grounding. And so you take the metal spoon and you put a decent amount of pressure on the middle of their foot, and you can just go counterclockwise. Counterclockwise releases energy. So you put a decent amount of pressure on the bottom of the foot, and you do this for a little while. I did notice a difference. My son was I was seeing that he was a little bit disoriented. And so I did that, and he did start to relax. I did that on both feet. I know there's a lot of stuff written about this online, so you could probably look it up to get more information, but it has to do with the metal and being able to draw the energy downward. Speaking of feet, you could also help them by giving them a nice deep pressure foot massage. You can massage the top of their foot, bottom of their foot to really descend the energy and bring them back down to earth. On the bottom of your foot, you have an acupuncture point called Kidney 1, and this is the only acupuncture point that's actually on the bottom of your foot, and it's what connects you to earth, and it grounds your spirit. A lot of times what happens when we have too much flow of energy in our upper body, we can start to feel dizzy, we can get headaches, anxiety, insomnia, and what that point can do is it can help to pull the energy downward, which is what's needed because there's too much going on up here. And fun little fact, that point is also used to help restore consciousness in people who have fainted. So it is definitely really helpful for descending that chi. And another thing that you can do is you can put a protection bubble around them. You can do this by visualizing white light surrounding their body. Sometimes what I do too is I visualize like an actual bubble around them with the intention of positive energy being able to penetrate the bubble and negative energy reflecting from the bubble. You can also call upon Archangel Michael to help protect your child's energy and your own. So the next thing that can really help them is black tourmaline, and I have one right here. Black tourmaline is extremely helpful for protecting their energy, grounding their energy, and helpful for just warding off negativity. So you can wear it, surround yourself with it. I actually really like having this all over our house, and especially at the front door, because it will help protect your home from negative energy coming in. The more that we can help these beautiful souls, the better our world will be. I really do believe that they are here for a reason, to teach us about flexibility, to teach us about patience, and to help us in our own soul's journey. These children are just so special and so gifted. A lot of times they actually have really intuitive abilities, psychic abilities, and they're really just in tune with the spirit world. It's not uncommon for them to talk about spiritual experiences, talk about seeing angels, talk about seeing, you know, energy in the form of like color. Really do crave and need a deep sense of peace, and they really thrive in natural environment. So the more that you can get them in nature, barefoot on the ground and in the dirt, the happier and the more peaceful these children tend to be. And if you are a parent to a crystal child, I just want to commend you, because I know life is not always easy, and it can be really challenging raising these children. You know, sometimes they tend to be a little stubborn and, you know, but they also hold so many amazing qualities. So I'm going to end today with a little card draw from my Indigo Angel Oracle deck. So I'm going to pull a card for if you are a parent to a crystal child. What should you know? Could you know? Just a collective message. Shuffle a few times. I already shuffled, but I'm gonna shuffle again. Okay. Okay, now we're just gonna randomly pick from the middle. Show appreciation. That little beautiful image. So I'm just going to read from the little book here because it tends to have really good messages. Okay. It's common for indigos to get caught up in their own lives and forget to show others around them just how much they mean to them. Although you may not realize it, your friends and loved ones are only human. They have feelings and emotions just the same as you do. You are being urged to offer and express gratitude to the special people in your life. This card also asks you to shift your focus away from what you lack in life and instead appreciate all that you do have and all that you've accomplished. When you can get in touch with this higher part of yourself, many more of your dreams will come true. I love that message. I think it can be so easy to just get sucked into everything in your life and forget to show gratitude for all the little things and all the simple pleasures, such as walking outside barefoot on the ground and enjoying sun and enjoying the nature. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you liked this video, if you thought it was valuable, let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to my new YouTube channel.